Hello and welcome to this Anactomus's TV/movie review. This week we are going to be talking about James Bond, You Only Live Twice. Now, in this video, an American NASA spacecraft has been hijacked, and the American government believe it was the Russians, but the British believe it has something to do with the Japanese, as the spacecraft landed in the Japanese Sea. Whilst the Americans are doing their own investigation, the British send their best man, 007 James Bond, to investigate their own suspicions. Now, the only thing is that because Spectre is still after Bond, MI6 have to fake his own death, and after he has a fake funeral out at sea, he is taken to Japan, where when he arrives he is taken to the head of the MI6 station there. Then, after a brief discussion and describing of his cover whilst he is in Japan, he gets straight to work, where he breaks into a couple of offices to try and see if he can find the relevant information. When he does, he attempts to get it back to the Japanese station so it can be researched. Then, after a while of investigating, watching people and trying to work out what's actually been going on, it becomes very clear to Bond that Spectre is behind this. Then, after a bit more investigation, going off to try and infiltrate some high up people, Bond is kidnapped and is forcibly put on a plane to be taken away from Japan. After Bond kind of fights off the people that are in the plane, he's able to land it. Once Bond finds out where this ship is that he's been looking for, he uses one of Q's gadgets to do a aerial reconnaissance on it, and this is where you discover that it's actually in a mountain. I say a mountain, it is actually in a volcano, and Bond is shocked because obviously a volcano is active, it is hollow inside with lava and so forth. But after a bit more research and talking to people that are fishermen and everything like that, he soon discovers that it is actually not active. It hasn't been active for many, many years, which makes Bond wonder, how has Spectre used this volcano as a base of operations? Bond then gets himself inside, and it's during this time that he's in the Spectre's base that he meets Spectre's chief and leader, Ernest Blindfold. What's his name? Blofeld. And after a exchange between the two men, Bond escapes. And after kind of getting back to the mainland and attempting to contact other people, it becomes very clear that the Americans haven't been listening to the British as he's been sending out information to them, and the Americans are still convinced that the Russians are still involved, and they have put a time limit on until this. If this doesn't stop, they will be. They shall put. They will put a strike onto Russia. So Bond, with the MI6 office in Japan, need to act fast, and they go into a large unit of fighting into the volcano base of Spectre, and as the two sides fight, Blofeld attempts to escape. Bond gives chase, and after a further toing and froing between the two of them, he escapes. Fortunately enough, Bond is able to stop another spaceship being launched from the base to intercept another American spaceship that will cause another further disruption between the Americans and the Russians. And so fortunately Bond was able to stop that, so the strike between the Americans and the Russians was no longer going to happen. Obviously at the end, Bond then has to leave and attempt to sort out everything that has been left in Japan. Unfortunately, as Blofeld has not been captured, he's escaped. This leaves Bond out on a limb, because there is the head of Spectre is still out there, still operational, and could come back at any time. Well, this is the end of this episode. Well, 007 James Bond, You Only Live Twice. I'm going to give this film a rating of number 5. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I shall see you next time. Goodbye.